Hey folks, Dusty here. This is going to be step 3 of my series on the C.i.b.O.R.g approach to a successful business. All of these videos will be available in my Business Principles playlist. The C.i.b.O.R.g approach, step 3, add mass. So far, we've established a core in step 1. Then, in step 2, we started to grow that core by going big. We are expanding our core using the C.i.b.O.R.g principles. Identify opportunities, build relationships, and generate capital. We have our two-dimensional triangle, and we are actively working at increasing our size, footprint, and stability. What's next? Now we add mass. Our two-dimensional triangle has area, but no mass. In order to add mass, we must add a third dimension. Just like our 2D triangle, the business is ineffective in its 2D shape. It's merely on paper, intangible, nothing more than a concept. Sure, it can grow in area, but it has no effect on the marketplace until it moves into the third dimension. So what do we add to our formula to move it into the third dimension? Can you perform business in a two-dimensional state? On paper, yes. It may be exactly what a bank or investor will want to see to issue credit. But it's still not worth anything more than a concept. The one thing we're lacking in the formula to bring us into the third dimension is value. Now, I don't mean a monetary value. I don't mean a valuation of its worth either. What I mean is that your business has to have a value to provide to your clients. Without offering a value to your clients, you have nothing more than an empty two-dimensional form drawn on paper. Regardless of the size of the footprint, if there's no value to offer to your clients, there's no reason for it to exist. When we add in a value to provide for our clients, we take our two-dimensional triangle and transform it into a three-sided pyramid or tetrahedron. Now, most likely, your business is not going to be a perfect tetrahedron, with each of the base edges being equal. So it may be a little misshapen, but still three-dimensional regardless. Like our base edges, our value that we offer is variable and can grow or shrink independently of the base edges. The difference, though, is that instead of an edge, the value we offer to our clients is a point. This point forms the top of our pyramid. The more value that we provide or offer, the taller our pyramid gets. A regular tetrahedron is based on an equilateral triangle, whereas all of the base edges are equal in length. Again, the larger the base, the more stable the unit is. But in the business world, such as in life, not everything is ever perfect. So if you have a very large base with a short pyramid, it will be incredibly stable, but the value that you provide to your clients will be limited. When we look at a very tall pyramid with a small base, it would be very susceptible to outside disturbances, such as an earthquake. So how would a tall pyramid with a small base act if one of the base edges were reduced significantly? It would become very unstable. We see this happen quite often when companies get into a cash flow problem. If your revenue stream dries up, that pyramid becomes incredibly unstable very rapidly. They say that nearly 95% of new businesses fail within the first 10 years. Cash flow or capital issues are almost always the number one cause. The same is true with our relationship edge. If all of a sudden your client flow gets interrupted, your stability decreases significantly. It may not be the end of the world, but it will likely take you some time to recover, and you will have to be very creative on how you move forward to stabilize your company. So let's say you encounter a major catastrophic event and both your capital and relationships get decimated. Over the years, you've worked very hard to build the height of your pyramid by increasing the value that you offer to your clients. Now you have an extremely unstable structure that even the slightest breeze can topple over. An event like that could cripple any business. So how do you protect yourself from certain disaster? You have to be hyper vigilant and always remain focused on your C.i.b.O.R.g foundation. Capital. Find your sweet spot and stay in it. Don't run out, but don't flood your business with unnecessary capital either. Both can have negative results. Keep generating it. Don't rely on one steady revenue source because they can dry up. Opportunities are what allows us to provide value to our clients. This could be an opening in your schedule to consult with a prospective client, for example. If you pack your schedule so tightly that you have no room for new consultations, eventually you will starve your relationship side. Again, knowing your sweet spot is key. Too many opportunities or too open of a schedule with a small client base can be detrimental as well. The store that rarely has clients doesn't attract new clients. Identify ways that you can augment your opportunities. Perhaps change your hours of operation. Look for complementary products to expand your offerings peripherally. Look for different ways to market yourself to new audiences. Relationships. This is not just about sheer volume here. This is quality over quantity. Be around the right people. Get yourself in front of the right audience. If your focus is installing high-end custom decks, you're not likely to find a lot of clients by hanging out in the low-rent neighborhoods. Exposing yourself to the right people with the right mindset is key. Get involved with some group that aligns with your personal ideals. Don't pretend to be someone you're not, because it'll be obvious that you don't belong. Be true to yourself and be genuine. Don't oversell yourself. Show interest in others before tooting your own horn. Having an elevator speech is great, but if both people are talking and neither is listening, it's a dead conversation. Build. Picture your relationships as a hot air balloon. It may float along gracefully for a while, but without you adding fuel to the fire, eventually the balloon comes back down. So that pretty much wraps up the C.i.b.O.R.g business model 3-part introduction. The basic premise is that core, capital, opportunities, and relationships is our foundation. We expand our foundation using BIG: build, identify, and generate. We then add mass, going 3-dimensional by offering value to our clients. This brings us from concept to reality. But our business isn't done being built. We can easily improve on these basic principles with more concepts and information. That is a subject for a more in-depth course, though, so we won't get into that here. If you found anything helpful in this series, please let me know. I welcome thoughtful criticism and comments to keep the dialogue going. If you'd like to support more content like this, check out the links in the comments and the description. That's all for this one. You can check out more of my content here. As always, folks, take the trip and enjoy the ride.